Hello and welcome to the 15th lesson of the AGR SketchUp course. In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to use the tape measure tool command. You can find the tape measure tool command over here, or you could go to tools and find it over here, tape measure, or you could press the T on your keyboard for the shortcut. So why do we need the tape measure tool? Tape measure tool has a lot of benefits that we can use inside of SketchUp. So for example, if I have a line over here, the first thing that we can do with the tape measure tool is let me press T on keyboard. The first thing that we can do is to click on a point, and then we can find the length of each lines, or like maybe you have like two lines with this distance from each other, and then you can just press T and use the tape measure tool. You can just find the length between these two lines. Okay, the first thing that you could use the tape measure tool was to find the length of something. The second way to use the tape measure tool is to create a guideline. So for example, I could just double click on this line and this will create a guideline for me. Or I could just click and drag and just type a value like, for example, 2 or 1, and then I could just make a copy of this like for 1 meters, and then type a value of 10 and type x10, and then it will just copy 10 of these over here. And I could create a grid over here. So for example, I could just create a line over here, and then double click on this line, and then just move it for 1 meter, and then I could, let me do it again, click to select it once, and then move it for 1 meter, and then type x10 or x15, and this will create 15 of these guidelines over here. And now I have a grid which I can just draw my drawings inside this grid. Or I could also even, I didn't need these lines. So for example, if I want to create this grid without using the lines, I could just activate the tape measure tool command and then double click on this, the red axis, and then double click on the green axis. And now I can just click and then move for like 1 meter, and then type a value like, for example, x15 over here, and then also x15 over here. And now we have this grid. So this can be very useful because we could just create some like walls or whatever we want inside of SketchUp with these grids. So I could just create like a wall, something like this, from these grids. And then I could just offset this, and I know that each of these is 1 meter, so it's very precise. So you could just you don't need to type values. You could just click on the intersection. You can see that when I activate the line, you can see a cross sign over here, and it says the intersection of these two guidelines. So I can just click and then click to create whichever plan shape I want. And then later on, I can just select all these lines, and then right click and click on make group to make all of them into a group. So I could right click and then click hide, and this will hide all these guidelines. And then I can go to view and click on hidden objects, and this will bring in the guidelines. Okay, there are two options over here. We have hidden objects and then hidden geometry. I will talk about these in future sessions. Hidden geometry is for like some soft and hidden lines on a face, but hidden objects is like having some groups or some faces or anything that is like an object, and you have hidden that object. So one way for me was to like, in order to delete these lines, I could just select all of them. Let me explode this group. Click on explode. And then I could just select all of these guidelines and press the delete key on our keyboard. Or if I want to delete all of these guidelines, I could go to edit and then click on delete guides, and this will delete everything that is inside of SketchUp. Be careful when using this delete guide because it will delete every guide that you have inside of SketchUp. It doesn't matter if it's in a group or if it's outside any group or component. This will delete everything that is a guide. So it doesn't matter if it's a point or a line. It will delete all of them. So how can we create guide points? In order to create guide points, I could just click or press the T on keyboard and activate the tape measure tool and just click on a point over here, and I could just move my cursor and like type a value, for example 5, and then press the enter key, and this will create a point with a dashed line, and I could use it to like create a line over here maybe. So this can be useful for this. Another thing that tape measure tool can do, so now that we know that it can be used like for measuring a line or something, to measure something. The second thing that tape measure tool was good for is for like creating guides. The third thing that we can do was to create a guide point, and the fourth thing that it's useful is that, for example, if I have imported a plan, like let me offset this face for like 0.2, 20 centimeters, and I've imported this plan from AutoCAD or like from another software inside of SketchUp, and now I want to, but the dimensions or the scale does not match what we want. So for example, it may be like this being like something other than 20 centimeters that we want. So like let me scale it to, for example, something like this, and we don't know what scale this wall has been. Like you can see that it's like 0.08 centimeters, and this is not correct. So if you want to scale it, scale everything inside of SketchUp according to the measurement or according to a dimension that we know that it's like, for example, this wall is 20 centimeters, and if we want to scale this according to this wall, then we could use the tape measure tool and not the scale tool. So I could press the T on keyboard, and then you can see that we have a plus sign below the tape measure tool, and if I press the control key, and this will remove the plus sign below the tape measure tool, and now it's ready to scale our object inside of SketchUp. So I could click over here and then click once again over here, and then now I could type a value 0.2 and then press the enter key, and now a window will appear which says like, do you want to resize the model? Well, I say yes, and I want to resize it to like 20 centimeters, and now I can like measure it again, and you can see that it turned back into the measurements that we needed, and you can see that we have like 2 meters over here. So this is another way to use this inside of SketchUp. Another thing that we can use the tape measure tool. So for example, I have this plan, and this has a correct like scaling, but let me make a copy of this, and I will scale this down to, for example, this, and I want to scale this one, and I don't want this plan to be affected. So if I like, you can if I measure this thing, you can see that it's 6 centimeters, and if I want to like scale this one, if I click over here and then click once again, type 2 and then press the enter key, and I resize this plan, you can see that this one is now 20 centimeters, but this plan is now like 62 centimeters, and this is not correct. If we want to scale only one group or one component, you can just double click on a group, and you can go to edit group or edit component, and now I could just press T on keyboard and activate the tape measure tool command and press the control key and click once over here, and then click a second time over here, and then type a value of 0.2 for 20 centimeters and press the enter key. And now it says, this one is different from the previous one, which says like, do you want to resize the active group or component? And then I say yes, and this will only scale this the thing that the object that were in that group. So it will not be affected by the ones that are outside that group. So another thing that tape measure tool can be useful for, like for example, if I have a stair over here, let me create a stair, 0.1, like 10 centimeters, and then like 3 centimeters over here, and then like 5 centimeters over here, and then we have like 33 centimeters for this stair, and then I will make a copy of this one, like 10 or like x11 of these stairs, and I could just move it like for 2 meters, and I could just create a line and type a value like for 30 centimeters. And now if I want to create the slope line below the stairs, I could just create a line over here, draw a line. If I draw a line which starts from the base of one stair and then ends on the base of another stair, well, this will create the sloped line for me, and now I could use it as a reference to create that line below. So I could just press the T on our keyboard and just click and then move my cursor, and then you can see that it turns into pink, and this indicates that it's like parallel to that line that we drew. So I could just type a value like for 30 centimeters, and now I could just click on this point and then move it into the red axis and just click on this line, on this guideline, and then move it down and click draw a line over here, and just draw a line from here, from the first stair that we had over here, and then just hold the shift key and click on this slope line. And now I can just delete the guide and also delete the line that we didn't need. So now we have a face, and if I use the push-pull tool, I could just create a stair like that. That's how easy it is to create stairs inside of SketchUp. But there are also some plugins that you can use, so like S4U Stairs, that we'll cover in future sessions, that you could use and make your progress a lot easier. So you could just draw a plan view from your stairs and then just click on the S4U Stairs, and it will just make it a 3D for you. So another thing that we can use the tape measure tool, we have like for example a space like this, and then let me offset this to 0.2 and then delete this face, and then push pull this face to 3 meters. Well, let me make a smaller space like maybe 5.5 or 5,5, and then offset this face to 0.2 and then push pull this face to 3 meters. And now I could create a guide to locate the side of our door. So I could just press the T on a keyboard and then click on this line on the outer edge of the wall, and then move my cursor in, and I could just type a value like for example 50 centimeters, and this will bring it in 50 centimeters from the outer wall. So now I could just press the R key on our keyboard and then just click on this intersection, and I could just move my cursor, and then I could just see from the down below that the first number is for the width of our door. So I could type like 1 meter, and then the second one is for the height. So I could just type 2.2. And now this will create this door for me. And now if I want to like create a window, I could just create a guideline for the height of the windowsill. So for example, I could just type a value of 0.8, like 80 centimeters, and then just click on this edge of the wall and then move in, and then type a value of 0.7 for 7 centimeters. And then now we have another intersection. Now I could use this intersection to click and then like type a value of 1.5, 1.5, and this will create that window and the edge of the window is located on the guide that we have over here. And now I could just push pull this face inside and also this face, and this will create like door, the opening for the door and an opening for the window like this. So it's very useful. The tape measure tool is very useful. The thing is that if like, what's the difference between the guideline and the line? So for example, if I wanted to create a line, this will, like, as you can see, when I drew this line, this will divide this face into two parts, and it has a straight impact on the face that we're working on. So for this to not happen, we could use the guideline, and this will not affect the face. And you can see that it created also a face over here. And as you remember that if we like had something like this and then we didn't have any face on it, we could just click and like draw a line on one of the edges, and this would create that face again for us. So this is what happened over here when I drew this line. It created a face. So let me just delete these lines. Right, another thing that we need to mention for the tape measure tool is that these guides could be active or deactivated from the view menu we have over here. We have the guides. If I click on this guides and deactivate the guides, you can see that it will just temporarily hide these guidelines for us. And if I go to view and just click on this guides again, you can see it brings them back in. So this concludes the 15th lesson of the AGR SketchUp course. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.